Good evening. Welcome to the special meeting of the Liquor Control Commission for Monday, June 2nd. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. On Memorial Day, former village manager Wally Douthwaite passed away suddenly. So I'd like to have a little reflection here in his memory. Thank you. Thank you. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Heer?
Here.
Commissioner Lang?
Here.
Commissioner Brady?
Here.
Commissioner Vogel?
Here.
Commissioner Hein?
Here.
Commissioner Kruger?
Present.
Chairperson Argyris.
Here. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of May 5th, 2014.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Heer.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lang. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Heer?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Hein?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Chairperson Argyris.
Yes, thank you. 5A.
In consideration of a Class AV liquor license for Dika Restaurant, 401 East Dundee Road, conversion from a current Class A.
Thank you. Manager Svandos.
Thank you. As you have before you, there is a request this evening to convert a Class A license to a Class AV license. This is an effort that the board was aware of, or the commission, I'm sorry, was aware of, that the business would like to bring in video gaming as part of their business plan. Before you this evening is that request. It is the standard request, save for a request by the petitioner to waive the $500 per terminal fee for this license. That is a total of $2,500. Staff cannot find a legal basis to do that. It is, of course, up to the commission, but it is the recommendation of staff not to grant that request.
Thank you. Petitioners here, want to state your name and address, please?
Sure. Alex Vaisman, 1056 Court Avenue, Highland Park, Illinois.
Okay. Any questions from the commission?
Question.
Commissioner Brady? No? Mary?
No.
Commissioner Lang?
Thank you. I know we haven't done this in the past, but this really seems like a bad precedent if we start waiving these fees at this point. What was the staff's stance behind not granting?
Exactly what you stated, that it would set a bad precedent, especially for a relatively new license. I don't know how we could justify waiving this fee in this particular case and not in every case.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else? Alex, you have anything you want to say?
Yes. If I may sort of remind the board the history with this particular license and sort of explain my reasoning for asking the board to waive the fee. When we were up here, there was no Class AV license when we were approved for video gambling. We were approved for Class A license based on the terms of that old approval. Other locations in Wheeling who had the AV or who had Class A license already had video gambling. We were approved for video gambling under Class A license. And we were made aware of the fact that the village is considering changing or adding a different license to their list of licenses. However, that no license existed then. My argument is that had we decided to change from Class A to Class AV, I fully understand why the board would consider not granting the waiver of the fee. However, the reason why we're asked to pay $500 per terminal now is because of a technicality. We happen to submit for State of Illinois license after the board passed the new after the board came up with the AV license. And the reason we submitted to the State of Illinois after is because we were waiting to get this license into our hands. It wasn't because of our carelessness or we didn't act fast enough. We got the license on Tuesday, physical license, and we went to the State of Illinois building on Thursday. Actually Wednesday, but we didn't have all the paperwork, so Thursday was filed. So it wasn't due to our negligence or, I mean, we were doing everything that we were asked to do It's just the technicality prevented us from being sort of grandfathered in, if you will. Other locations in Wheeling who have or who had video gambling on their Class A license are not being asked to pay per terminal because they were sort of moved into this new realm, if you will. I hope that makes sense. That's why we're asking to waive. And I don't see this setting a bad precedence. I see this setting a good precedence that we were just, that village's understanding of issues that result out of technicalities. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Furlow, any comments?
Well, I think the intent of the board is pretty clearly stated in your memorandum that those who did not either have a video gaming license as of March 3rd, 2014, or who have not applied for a gaming license as of March 3rd, 2014, would be assessed this $500 per terminal fee. There is no criteria in our code for a waiver. Waiving this fee would be really contrary to, I think, the intent of the code as you drafted it. But that's, so I've talked with the manager about this, and it's my recommendation that the waiver option really doesn't exist under the ordinance as we drafted it.
Okay. Before I consider, I want to get a consensus on waiving the fee from the board. So roll call, please, on that. Yes or no?
Trustee Here?
No.
Trustee Lang?
No.
Trustee Brady?
No.
Trustee Vogel?
No.
Trustee Hein?
No.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Kruger?
No.
Chairperson Argyris?
No. Okay. There are conditions prior to entertaining a motion. You want to read them for the record?
Sure. 1, submittal of a certificate of insurance indicating liquor liability insurance for the establishment that names the Village of Wheeling as an additional insured party. 2, submittal of Bassett certificates for all servers. 3, passage of an ordinance by the Board of Trustees authorizing the creation of a new Class A liquor license, which will be prepared for placement on an upcoming agenda. 4, video gaming license approval by the Illinois Gaming Board in accordance with the provisions of the Video Gaming Act. And 5, payment of all associated liquor license fees.
Just a correction on it. Is it a Class AV liquor license or just A?
AV.
AV. Okay.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Has the, we have submitted all of the documentation because we have the Class A liquor license in our hands. Do we have to submit that again?
I don't know what we have on file.
Okay.
Have you
We have
you
the license.
provided all the Bassett? I mean, this was
Yes.
prepared today, so.
I know, yeah, I know.
As of this morning, this
I
stuff
know.
wasn't in hand.
Yes, well, we wouldn't have had the Class A license had we not submitted the Bassett. We volunteered to do the Bassett before it was even a law.
As long as they're current, I think
Okay,
the best
perfect.
practice is just to resubmit the same ones.
And then the other question is, has the Class AV liquor license been created?
It will at the regular meeting.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Okay.
You want to read that for the record?
Yes. Class AV licenses shall authorize the retail sale of alcoholic liquor in restaurants for consumption on the premises and by the package for consumption off the premises, and authorize the operation of video gaming devices upon the licensed premises, subject to the following conditions and qualifications. A Class AV licensed premises must provide a minimum table seating capacity in the dining area of 75 persons, exclusive of all bar stool and bar area tables or seats. Must be operated primarily as a sit-down restaurant, offering its patrons full and complete meals prepared on the premises, including a full dinner menu. Must serve and take orders for meals until no earlier than 2 hours prior to the actual closing of the establishment on any day. Must have a video gaming license issued by the Illinois Gaming Board in accordance with the provisions of the Video Gaming Act 230 ILCS 41 all. Shall comply with all provisions of the Illinois Video Gaming Act and rules, regulations, and restrictions imposed by the Illinois Gaming Board, and the operation of video gaming terminals shall not be permitted during the hours alcoholic liquor sales are prohibited as provided in Section 4.32.200. Please note that in addition to the conditions and qualifications specific to this license class, all Wheeling liquor license holders must comply with all provisions of the Wheeling Municipal Code and are responsible for being familiar with those provisions.
Thank you.
May
Go ahead.
I ask another question? I'm sorry. Thank you, John.
No problem.
Currently, we have an application into the state of Illinois with a Class A liquor license. When we get the Class AV liquor license, what happens then?
You will not have to resubmit that application to the state of Illinois. Once you get your license for video gaming, get a copy of that to us. You will then get your AV license from Wheeling.
So it's going to be a little bit, okay, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, you can continue to operate under your Class A license.
So we don't have to resubmit to the state of Illinois. Perfect.
Entertain a motion with the conditions.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Vogel, second by Commissioner Brady. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Here,
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Hein?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Chairperson Argyris?
Yes, thank you. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Here,
Thank you.
second by Commissioner Hein. Roll call.
Commissioner Here?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Hein?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Chairperson Argyris?
Yes, thank you. Okay. A second here. The regular meeting for Monday, June 2nd is now called to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Here?
Here.
Trustee Lang?
Here.
Trustee Brady?
Here.
Trustee Vogel?
Here.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Present.
President Argyris?
Present. Entertain a motion to approve the workshop minutes for April 28th.
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Here, second by?
Second.
Second by Trustee Lang. Roll call, please.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Argyris?
Yes. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes for May 5th.
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Brady,
Second.
second by Trustee Kruger. Roll call, please.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Argyris?
Yes, thank you. Entertain a motion for the special meeting of May 19th, the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Lang,
Second.
second by Trustee Here. Roll call.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Argyris?
Yes, thank you. Changes to the agenda, Manager's Fondilis.
Thank you. We do have one. I'd like to ask for a single motion to table two ordinances this evening, items 13B and 13C. After discussion with members of the board and staff, we have determined that we will need to take up the proposed TIF ordinances on July 7th. The reasons that we are tabling these proposed ordinances until the July 7th meeting are twofold. First, we anticipate that the 2013 EAV figures will be certified by the Cook County Clerk's Office later this month. We intend to base any new TIF district ordinances on the most up-to-date EAV information available, and waiting 1 month to take up these proposed ordinances will allow us to use the 2013 EAV information. Second, the proposed TIF ordinances have led local taxing bodies to raise concerns. During this interim period, we are willing to work with the taxing bodies to answer any questions they might have and to ensure that our upcoming partnership is in the best interest of all parties involved.
Entertain a motion. So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Hines, second by Trustee Kruger. Roll call.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Argyris?
Yes, thank you. Proclamations, Madam Clerk.
I'm congratulating Taylor Plumbing on its 100th anniversary. English immigrant Thomas Charles Taylor established Taylor Plumbing in 1914, and the company has been continually operated by the Taylor family ever since. While originally located on Western Avenue in Chicago, Taylor Plumbing has been based in Wheeling since 2004 and currently employs 25 people under the leadership of the founder's grandson, Thomas Nelson Taylor Jr. Taylor Plumbing has a long-standing tradition of providing prompt, courteous, and professional plumbing service in a variety of capacities, including construction, backflow, and irrigation to commercial, industrial, and residential customers. The Village of Wheeling is fortunate to count Taylor Plumbing among the exemplary stakeholders in the Wheeling community. Dean Argyris, President of the Village of Wheeling, do hereby proclaim congratulations to Taylor Plumbing on the occasion of its 100th anniversary and call upon the citizens of Wheeling to join him in recognizing its significant contributions to our community.
Thank you. Somebody here from Taylor Plumbing? Just step up. Sure. All of you. There you go. The plumbers are here. Congratulations. 100 years. Yeah. Terrific. Sure. Give you a round for another 100? Yeah. Next one.
National Garden Week, June 1st to June 7th, 2014. The Wheeling Garden Club, in cooperation with the National Garden Clubs Incorporated, is promoting National Garden Week in Illinois. The Garden Clubs of Illinois is a nonprofit organization with 206 clubs and more than 8,300 members throughout Illinois. Gardeners have a passion for nurturing the beauty and resources of the earth through the planting of seeds, the care of all plants, and the riches of their efforts. Gardeners seek to add beauty, splendor, fragrance, and nutrition to our lives through the growing of herbs, vegetables, foliage, and flowers. Gardening promotes a healthy lifestyle that lasts a lifetime, helps reduce stress from other areas of our lives, teaches that rewards can come from diligent efforts. The members of the Wheeling Garden Club and Garden Clubs of Illinois are concerned citizens willing to devote their time and talents to the conservation, preservation, and beautification of our state's natural treasures and to expand and share our knowledge for the betterment of the environment. Dana Argyris, President of the Village of Wheeling, acknowledges the importance of gardening and the numerous contributions of gardeners and celebrates June 1st through June 7th, 2014 as National Garden Week.
Thank you. Is Mrs. Brady here?
No, it's going to be Ken.
Well, we know Mr. Brady, so. You can give this to Mrs. Brady. That'd be great. Thanks to all the members of the garden. Thank you. Citizens' concerns and comments?
Members of the general public may address the board with concerns or comments regarding relevant issues. The person submitting a petition, concern, or other comment shall be allotted 5 minutes to present their points and should state their name and address into the record. Mr. Brezek?
My name is Carl Brezek. Me and my family have been in Wheeling since I was roughly 7 years old, when my dad started a machine shop at 55 Exchange Court, Wheeling, Illinois. I'm now 72, going on 73. We have a long history here. Basically, I have two important topics. One is the property taxes. I reviewed all the property tax increases for myself in particular, and they've averaged over the last 10 years over 10.5%. Whereas the Social Security pension have averaged a little over 1.5%. At that rate, all the seniors who are relying on their Social Security income will be paying 100% or more of their Social Security income for property taxes. This has to stop. I understand that most of the expenditure is from the school district. The school district is a bunch of part-time employees with a strong labor union that can blackmail the local government into granting them whatever increases they want, in particular their exorbitant pension stuff. Mayor Daley, who just recently retired, has a pension of over $260,000, of which one of the increases in the property taxes is to pay these public employees' pension. When you are trying to live on $14,000 a year, of which half of it goes to property taxes, you can see why the citizens of the Village of Wheeling are hard up, including the whole state of Illinois. Number two, food, genetically modified foods. They cannot be sold in the Village of Wheeling unless they are properly identified. I would suggest that you pass an ordinance to that effect. The President of the United States has his own private garden, so he doesn't have to eat the poison that is forced upon us. We all here are slowly dying. The bees are gone. The night crawlers are gone. The blackbirds are gone. Remember when the sky would be full of blackbirds migrating north and south in the fall and spring? You don't see them anymore. This year is the first time I only saw one flock of geese flying north. That was it. Heritage Park. You have to find out what they are doing over there. From what I gather, they are increasing the flow of water from the east, and Heritage Park is a transmission junction. When the ditch that they are building along Wolf Road fills up, it flows over the concrete causeway into the stream that parallels Wolf Road. When that overflows, and it will overflow, then it'll go over the banks, and Chief Benson, your police station, which is at the low end, will be under 1 to 2 foot of water. Find out what in the hell they are doing and how much are they increasing the capacity of water that's going into the Heritage Park complex. You got to find out what they're doing, because eventually that whole Heritage Park is going to be underwater. I used to live in Des Plaines. I was at the end of the Deep Tunnel project. I used to hear the rumbling and the blasting. And it was good for about 3 or 4 years until they started increasing the flow rate of the water going into the Deep Tunnel project. Now, you saw what happened in Des Plaines this year. They had the same problem with flooding that they had in previous years. They just drained all the water right into Des Plaines, which is a low area, and you're a little bit higher, but not that much higher. Heritage Park, you have to start looking for the future. Eventually, there's going to be a crisis, and there will be no food shipments into Chicago. And when people are starving, they're going to go out to suburbs to look for food. Start planting fruit trees, grapevines, bushes. Talk to the gardening club, so at least they would be restrained from breaking into the Village of Wheeling's home looking for food because they are starving. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Ms. Johnson?
From
Yeah.
where? Where was she from?
Kathy Johnson from Itasca?
214.
Yeah, 214.
High school, 214, okay.
Chris Beal?
Yeah, I got a question. I missed a couple of the meetings, okay, about the TIF. I was wondering what's going on with it. I was just wondering if Wolf Run Estates will ever get water or sewers.
Where do you live? I'm sorry.
Wolf Run Estates?
Okay. John?
There are no plans at the present to bring water, sewer, or any infrastructure down there. However, that service is something that we've been looking at for quite a long time for all of the previously annexed areas.
Okay, and this TIF, wouldn't that cover it? I mean, is it a money situation, or why is it taking so long to get it?
It is a multi-million dollar project that a TIF would never cover the full cost of. So it is a sensitive situation as far as how much money to spend in order to provide that service. It all depends on redevelopment in the area. There are a number of factors. We'd be happy to sit and talk with you if you'd like, but that's something that staff has been looking into, but it is a financial situation for all of the previously annexed areas.
So you don't have any time date or nothing?
No.
You have no clue as to how long it's going to take?
Well, right now, we don't even have a TIF in place.
Right.
Okay. All right.
But we will be giving a presentation on what we do with the TIF, so you understand. Maybe give you some insight.
Thank you.
Okay, sure. Staff reports, Director Malanaphy. Regarding TIFs?
It's regarding the facade grant.
You're still
it's
on
still
for
on
this
the
evening.
agenda. You're fine.
Thank you,
Melancey.
President Argyris. I just wanted to give you an update. Economic Development staff attended the International Council of Shopping Centers Recon Convention in Las Vegas. It's the largest shopping center convention in the world. We attended that from May 17th through May 21st. We conducted over 30 formal meetings with retailers, restaurateurs, developers, and these meetings were very productive. The leasing efforts for Wheeling Town Center have accelerated. We actually placed an ad in Shopping Center Business Magazine, which goes all over the world to shopping center developers and retailers. And we took out a full-page ad, which was seen by quite a few in our industry, and it really generated a lot of interest in the project. We met with the owner of Flick's Brewhouse. They are our anchor tenant for Wheeling Town Center. It's a first-run movie theater with dinner and alcohol. And we met with the owner of the restaurant or the movie company, as well as their director of real estate. And we also met with a number of retailers that are active in the Chicago area, including Meijer, JCPenney, Blackfin Restaurant, Panera Bread, Andy's Frozen Custard, Starbucks, Noodles and Company, Smashburger, Subway, Dunkin' Donuts, Moe's Southwest Grill, Blaze Pizza, the Fresh Market Grocery Store, Plum Market Grocery Store, Dollar Tree, and numerous others. I just want to name a few. Over 30,000 people attended the convention. It was up significantly from previous years. And we're very confident that we will attract new retailers and restaurants to Wheeling based on these meetings, and to fill some of the vacant space in our shopping centers as well as vacant sites around the village, and more specifically bringing new retailers and restaurants to our downtown, to Wheeling Town Center. So I just wanted to give the board an update on those meetings. Drew Garcia joined me, and we feel very confident that we're going to get some pretty good results out of it.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Human Services Director Weezer.
Good evening. Thank you, President Argyris. In an effort to help make sure that all students start the school year well, the Village of Wheeling Human Services Department and the Village Health Board, in conjunction with Wheeling High School and District 21 and Familia Dental and Greater Elgin Family Care Center, will be hosting a back-to-school physical and immunization clinics. They will be held June 25th from 1 to 9 p.m., June 26th from 8 to 4 p.m., July 8th from 8 to 4, and July 9th from 1 to 9, all held at Wheeling High School. These clinics they will accept Medicaid, or the cost for the immunization and physical will be $25. They are done by appointment. To make an appointment, please call 847-459-2606. If no one answers, you can leave a message on option number 7, and someone will get back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Stavros.
Today we started, thank you, President Argyris. Today, the water main project on Moores Avenue started, and it's a 30-day project for completion. And there's a limited parking on the south side of Moores, so we're going to post that, and it's going to be like 200 feet in front of the project wherever they're digging, and 200 feet to the rear. I know there's a lot of parking that takes place on Moores Avenue, so we're going to try to move the no parking signs as the project moves forward, just so residents in the area are cognizant of it.
And the contractor will work on the dust that's created there, Annette?
Yes, the water trucks out there.
Okay. If I can, maybe you can update the board a little bit too. I've received...
Paving will follow up immediately following.
That's fine. On the Avalon Sienna Park, I've been getting phone calls on it. What's the status of that? I know we shut it down.
Yes, this spring, our crews went out there from forestry, and we did an initial inspection and noticed that the equipment was in disrepair. We had it inspected by certified playground inspectors for the equipment, and it came back that a lot of the equipment needed to be repaired or replaced. We asked we called another inspection company in, had it inspected again, same result. Therefore, we had to fence the entire area off for the protection of the residents and the children of the area. Currently, we're taking bids in looking at what to do with the park. We do have some leeway here as far as some of the older equipment goes. When I say older equipment, I'm talking about equipment for 7 to 10, 12-year-old children. Some of that equipment's not in such disrepair that we cannot in-house repair that. So I believe that some of those parts have been ordered. Some of the toddler stuff from the, I believe it's from the 2 to 4-year-old equipment, that equipment has to be completely removed. So we're looking at options at that.
Okay. So we'll get something soon.
As soon as we get some more information, we'll get back to you on that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Consent agenda, Madam Clerk?
All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered after all other agenda items.
Thank you. Entertain a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion by trustee Hare, second by trustee Vogel. Roll call?
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Argyris?
Yes, thank you. No old business. 13A, new business?
New business presentation regarding the tax increment financing.
Thank you. Manager Spandos?
Thank you. This evening, we have a presentation that Village President Argyris is going to walk through, and it's meant to be an educational process on what exactly a TIF is. There's been a lot of question, a lot of talk about TIFs lately, and we thought it prudent to provide the public with some education on what exactly a TIF district is, what increment is, and what TIF dollars go for as it relates to the benefit of our entire community versus any specific taxing body. President Argyris is going to walk through this PowerPoint presentation, and there will be a bit of an introduction as well from Finance Director Mon Chain, providing a more detailed definition.
Thanks,
President
John.
Argyris.
Thanks. I wanted to take the opportunity here to kind of educate the public on what a TIF is. There's a lot of perceptions out there, a lot of things in the press. They have talked about us establishing 2 new TIFs and what we actually do with the TIFs. We've had a long history of TIFs in this community that have been very beneficial to the community that I wanted to share with those in the audience and also on TV. But I think most important is to get a clear definition on what is the TIF in layman's term. Everybody that comes to me goes, what's a TIF? And what was nice, in the last newsletter, I touched base on it with my letter to the residents and the businesses out there. And as of now, in the last couple of weeks, I probably received every bit of 30 or 40 responses thanking me for that information. It was things that they never understood, that appreciated some definition of. So with that, I'm going to ask Michael to touch base on some of the points of the TIF and how it works, and define some of what an increment is, for example, if you could. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, President Argyris. Just briefly, a tax increment financing district is the most important economic development tool that's available to municipalities in the state of Illinois. When certain properties in a community meet the criteria that's established by state statute to be included in a TIF district, the equalized assessed valuation of those properties is frozen at their current value. And property tax dollars that are generated as a result of future increases in the EAV, which is the increment, are deposited in a special fund of the village. Those funds can then be used for infrastructure improvements within the district and to provide incentives to developers to redevelop blighted properties. Without financial assistance from the TIF district, it's very unlikely that these blighted properties would ever be redeveloped due to the extraordinary costs of doing so. With TIF assistance, new EAV is created, which in turn generates additional revenue for all the taxing districts when the TIF expires. In Wheeling, we have a very good example of how a TIF district works, and that is the Westin Hotel in the Lake Cook Milwaukee TIF. When the Lake Cook Milwaukee TIF was created, the property that is now the Westin Hotel development consisted of horse stables and other blighted businesses that had a combined EAV of $2.6 million. That $2.6 million was the base EAV, the EAV at the start of the TIF district. And that generated very little in property taxes for any of the taxing districts, about a combined amount of approximately $200,000. Today, the Westin Hotel project has an EAV of $21.6 million, which is an increase of $19 million or 730% in EAV, and generates over $2 million in property taxes that never would have existed without the TIF district. That's the definition of increment. It's the property taxes that result from the increase in the EAV from the base to the current EAV. Many people have the mistaken belief that when the village contributes money to a project like the Westin Hotel, that's coming from their tax dollars. That's really not the case. When the Westin was built, the village sold $24.4 million in revenue bonds to help finance the incentive for that project. But the project generates more than enough increment every year to pay for those bonds. So those tax dollars come from the project, not from our residents and businesses. In addition to that, the village is receiving $1.4 million a year in sales tax, hotel motel tax, and food and beverage tax from that project, which helps pay for our general operating costs. $1.4 million, to put that in perspective, is equal to about 12% of our annual property tax levy, which means that without the Westin Hotel project, the village would have to increase its tax levy by approximately 12% to generate the money it needs to pay for core services like police, fire, and public works. Another way of looking at it is if you're a resident with a property tax bill and you pay approximately $500 a year to the village for the core services that the village provides, your tax bill would have to increase by $60 if the Westin project never happened. So one way of looking at it is to say that the Westin project and the TIF district itself would have saved that resident $60 per year. So in summary, TIF districts are an investment in the future of the community that can help reduce the property tax burden on all residents and businesses by creating new growth that otherwise would not have existed.
Thank you. So let's start. You got it up there? Okay. Village of Wheeling, the key to our future is continued aggressive, smart economic development. Why? Because it brings needed revenue to help fund essential village services, helps fund quality education, nice parks, and a library, helps reduce the property tax burden for village residents and businesses, adds quality shopping, entertainment, and other amenities to the village, keeps us competitive in a very challenging economy today. Used extensively in Illinois, and particularly in communities throughout the northwest suburbs, often means the difference between worthy developments and vacant properties. It's a tool that benefits the village, other taxing districts, and taxpayers. TIF districts create an economic engine that leads to redevelopment projects even when an incentive is not provided to the developer. Much of the village's recent economic development was helped greatly by tax increment financing districts, also known as TIFs. The village analysis shows that 5 recent TIFs increased its equalized assessed value by a combined of over $44 million. Wheeling has been more prosperous and economically vital because of our TIFs. Most of the TIFs have been successful and will result in increased revenues for the other taxing districts when they do expire. They brought needed and desired retail and commercial development here and allowed the village to keep taxes lower than they would have been without economic development, and Michael gave a good example of that just now. This perspective is relevant because the village is considering creating 2 new TIFs to help spur our even more development. The proposed town center TIF would help build a $150 million mixed-use entertainment, shopping, and residential district in around the former Wicks Furniture property on Dundee Road, which, by the way, is owned by the Village of Wheeling, which, by the way, today generates 0 tax dollars. The other TIF district, the Southeast TIF, is near the Chicago Executive Airport. The proposed TIF has the same goal in mind, benefits for all taxing districts and taxpayers in addition to the developers. Tax increment financing allows the village to address commercial blight in the village. Commercial blight breeds additional commercial blight and can lead to residential blight and disinvestment. We are all on the same team when it comes to economic development. Our TIFs districts projects have been successful in the last few years, and here are some examples. On the corner of Milwaukee and Dundee, the Crossroads TIF, which was created in 1985 and expires in 2019, the Friendship Park, as you can see, a gateway into our community. Above that picture, you'll see a vacant gas station that sat there for many years empty, with EPA issues as well. So that $1.572 million was not just for the park, but also for cleanup. Next. The Crossroads TIF District, the Clock Tower Park, $397,000. The Flag Park, $130,000. This is the after pictures of that, which finishes the 4 corners of Milwaukee and Dundee. Next. 115, 119 South Milwaukee Avenue, again in the Crossroads TIF, that expires in 2019. Total investment about $1.2 million, which includes land acquisition cost of $1 million. These were 2 empty buildings there that are now open and ready, shovel ready for development. Again, another project in the Crossroads TIF, the North Star Plaza, $598,000. Next. Don Roth's Restaurant, which today is not there anymore. With the TIF help, we were able to demolish that building there, get it ready for future development with the owners of Don Ross. Crossroads TIF, Fresh Farms, $9.8 million, which includes land acquisition cost of $4.8 million. Again, look at the before above, the 2 pictures, and look at it today. Let me get caught up here. Follow that. Okay. Again, the Fresh Farms development is in the intersection of Milwaukee and Dundee. The complete redevelopment of the older grocery store and other smaller retails. The district, again, will expire in 5 years, yielding substantial additional revenue for the taxing bodies due to new development made possible through the TIF initiatives. Next. 306 Milwaukee Avenue, $1.6 million again in the TIF district. This is the west side of Milwaukee Avenue, south of Dundee, across from the street from Superdog. Used to be blighted condos, now it's a medical professional building. Look at the before and after. Dunkin' Donuts, again, Crossroads TIF, Dundee and Wheeling Avenue. Used to be very small residential homes, approximately 4 of them. Now it has a Dunkin' Donuts and available retail pad to the east. Total investment, $123,000. Another project on the south Crossroads TIF, 434 South Milwaukee Avenue. It's the vacant parcel north of Tuscany's. Total investment of $651,724. A problematic commercial site. Used to be the old Union 76 gas station and repair shop. To clean up that site alone was in excess of almost $400,000 just to clean that site. A total eyesore for the village. Now it's available for redevelopment. I guess the crown jewel, Lake Cook Milwaukee TIF, which was created in 2003 and will expire in 2026. The Westin Hotel and Outlets. Michael had touched base on a $24.4 million revenue bond. Again, let me state, this revenue bond was made by, like stockholders, people who wanted to invest into a revenue bond on this project. There was no general obligation bond that would put the burden in case this project were to fail onto the taxpayers, businesses, or residents. If you recall, prior to the Westin, it used to be the Ridgewood Horse Stables, the Wonder Bread Outlet Store. Now it hosts the Westin, Cooper Hawks, Sarnello's, Spears, Twin Peaks, Devon Bank, and various small businesses. This district will expire in 12 years, yielding substantial additional revenue for taxing bodies due to new development made possible through TIF initiatives. Lake Cook Milwaukee TIF, which was created in 2003 and again will expire in approximately 12 years. The sanitary sewer improvements, Wolf Road, almost $1 million. Infrastructure improvements that allowed for the development of the Westin, Prairie Park, and Millbrook projects and future projects in that North TIF. Prairie Park condo development, approximately $10.5 million in incentives. West side of Milwaukee Avenue, just south of Lake Cook, was Simmerling Fence, Heinz Lumber, now is Prairie Park, and the Ram Restaurant. Here's a site, a perfect example of a new development in town based on the initiative that we had given. That site, back in 2002, was generating approximately $112,000 annually in real estate taxes. Today, it is producing well over $2 million in real estate taxes for the future of all taxing bodies, including the Village of Wheeling. This is what a TIF does. Create new dollars for new development to come in here and have things happen here. Millbrook Point Townhome Development, $1.5 million incentive. Another example, look what used to be there. It was a burned down factory building, now it's upscale residential community on the east side of Wolf Road, north of Strong. The Wicks property, redevelopment. Vacant property just west of Village Hall on Dundee and Northgate Parkway. Right now, we have a redevelopment agreement ready to be signed once a TIF is in place. This redevelopment agreement is worth over $150 million to this community. It's projected including a movie theater, signature restaurant, luxury apartment building, and as soon as the TIF is approved, the redevelopment agreement will be approved as well. Again, Wicks property generates $0. It's owned by the Village of Wheeling. And with our projections, based on numbers that I've seen, if the development is built tomorrow, it will generate an additional $2 million in real estate taxes for the future, annually, versus what we're getting now, nothing. Kmart demolition, northeast corner of Dundee and Route 83. It was a big box realtor, it was Kmart. It's been vacant since 2002. It was demolished in 2009. It is ready for redevelopment, and we are getting inquiries every single day, more so now in the last 6 months than we've had probably in the last 6 years. Town Center TIF, again, it was created in 2003. It was terminated at the end of last year. Community Boulevard project, over $1 million. This road, not the building, not the traffic signal, an example of good intergovernmental cooperation with our park district here. Southeast TIF, which was created in 2008 and terminated in 2013, International Aviation Hangar. The incentive was about $500,000. It is owned by Chicago Executive Airport. It used to be vacant land. Now it's an FBO for international aviation. Over $100,000 a year is generated in real estate taxes. Prior to this building being put up, it was paying minimum real estate taxes, maybe a couple, $2,000, $3,000. South Milwaukee TIF, again, it was created in 2000. It will expire in 2023. Land acquisition. How many of you all remember coming from the south, going north into the Village of Wheeling, and remember what we used to see? East side of Milwaukee Avenue, across from Astor Place, was a used car lot, Clark gas station, overhead garage door company. Now the village owns and is ready for redevelopment. The district will expire in 9 years, yielding substantial additional revenue for taxing bodies due to the new development made possible through TIF initiatives. All our TIFs, we created a facade program. To date, we have given to building owners, current property owners, approximately $291,000. It's a $50,000 grant. Matter of fact, tonight on our agenda, we're going to be granting a grant to one of our future new businesses here in town. DECA. Other examples is Turnkey. Other examples are properties on Dundee Road next to B&L Liquors and on Milwaukee Avenue and also North Milwaukee Avenue. So this has been a real proactive where we're sharing costs maximum of $50,000 to an existing business owner or property owner. Superdog. Do you all remember that blighted area there? TIF development encouraged, it was non-incentivized development interest, but it created the synergy in that corridor there. Superdog didn't ask for money, but what it did was create that energy and to have that world-renowned Superdog here in our town. Another project that didn't require any TIF money was Astor Place. If you all recall, that used to be Wheeling Nursery. And what that basically did, Astor Place for that South TIF, was really spur development down there. It changed the image of South Milwaukee Avenue going to the north. And as you can see, it's been very positive. We buried power lines there. We did a lot of infrastructure in that area there for an area that was very blighted. One Milwaukee Place, probably one of the first TIF projects when I started in 1997 as a plan commissioner. Prior to that, the Crossroads TIF really saw no activity in it for about 12 years. This was a project that the developer got nothing, but the village did invest quite a few dollars in infrastructure in that area there, with water, sewer, things that we needed to auger underneath Milwaukee Avenue for that project to happen. If you guys recall, it was Sport Mart that was empty. There was an empty Dunkin' Donuts there. Today, it's a beautiful development there, generating revenues that in the past didn't generate, and they really kick-started a lot of things for our TIFs. The old Hackney's, which is now DeAugustino's, more of the same. As you can see the streetscape where the old Hackney's used to be, and you look at it today, these are positive images of our community and how we changed our community with TIFs. Just wanted to touch base. There are top 3 TIFs show positive assessed valuation growth of $70 million. And as you can see here on the chart, when we first started the Crossroads TIF, the base EAV was just under $13 million. As of 2012, it's around $36 million. The South Milwaukee TIF, the base EAV was just under $1.7 million. Today, it's almost $16.5 million. And the Lake Cook Milwaukee TIF, which had an EAV base of about just under $25 million, is over $57.5 million. When we used to have the Old Town Center TIF, we had started off at $49+ million as a base. As of 2012, that went down, decreased $11 million based on the recession. The Southeast TIF, where the airport is, Industrial Lane, Wolf Run, all that area there, we had started off with a base of just under $67 million. Today, it's just over $51 million for a decrease of over $15 million. So if you take all our TIFs into place, we've created an EAV increase of over $44 million since we started these TIFs. But the 3 winners have created over $70 million in a positive way. Surplus is distributed to all the taxing bodies, not just the schools, not the library, not the park, but Cook County, the mosquito abatement. In the Crossroads TIF, since 2005, which was an agreement that the school bodies and the park and the library agreed to give us a 12-year extension because of ongoing projects at the Crossroads TIF at Milwaukee and Dundee, we declared a surplus since 2005 and distributed over $17 million to all the taxing bodies. The South Milwaukee TIF, just a couple months ago, as part of our negotiations and doing the right thing here, we distributed $2.5 million to all the taxing bodies. And the Southeast TIF, which might be not familiar with some members here of the board, was the carving out of the River Mills Townhome development on South Milwaukee Avenue. We excluded that from any TIF, and the increment that's being generated thus far has been over $1 million to all the taxing bodies, for a total of $21 million. Wheeling's at the crossroads. We either prosper or we decline. We talked about competition. In the Chicagoland economy, it's extremely competitive. In 2006, 8 million square feet of retail was built. In 2013, only 1 million square feet of retail was built. In excess, each prospective development is far more difficult to attract than just a few years ago. Wheeling has an opportunity through TIF redevelopment projects to create a bright future for both our residents and businesses. We remain committed to aggressive, smart economic development. And in closing, I just wanted to basically say this. We have great opportunities here in our community that I'm proud of, and so is this board. I'd like to thank our staff, our consultants, our legal team, and most important, the residents here in the Village of Wheeling. We have spent millions of dollars to change the image of this town, probably since 1997, 1998. And I'm proud to say that we've done that. Our projects have been successful. We want to create partnerships with our schools, with our parks, with our library, and continue that partnership. Because part of our community is not just the Village of Wheeling, it's everybody in that community. All the taxing body plays a key role. We're sensitive to the needs of all those taxing bodies, and will remain sensitive to that. My ultimate goal is to be aggressive, move forward. Even though it's a 23-year TIF, once it's reestablished, doesn't mean it has to be for 23 years. We have a team here that I am very confident that we will do the right thing for this community and for the businesses in this town. We can't afford to be status quo. We cannot afford to sit and watch our neighbors around us do things that we're not doing. TIF District has been a great economic tool and a revenue source for this village. Michael touched base on core services. We created revenues outside of real estate taxes that generate revenues to help keep the tax base down. I'm telling you right now, we've been fortunate with the Fresh Farms, the Westons, the restaurants up and down Milwaukee Avenue, things over at Chicago Executive Airport. This town is going through some very exciting times right now. And the revenues have helped us put dollars into our general fund without dipping into all the taxing bodies and all the taxpayers here in this community. Michael, you touched base on something. For every 1% levy is approximately $100,000 that we need to pay for the status quo of core services. And those core services are not just for the residents, they're for everybody. They're for the businesses, they're for the schools, they're for the parks. That's why I keep on calling it a team and partnership, because we need everybody there. All I ask is, believe in what we're trying to do here. It's important to this community. If we do nothing, we gain nothing. I'm sensitive to the fact that the schools and the park and the library and some other taxing bodies may be wondering why are we doing what we're doing. Today we're not resetting, we're reestablishing. We don't have TIFs in place to reset. We want to move forward because we have true development waiting and knocking on our door. For the first time in many years, we're getting talks from developers that are looking west of the tracks. My neighborhood, 83 and Dundee. Nobody talked about that years ago. We went through tough times in this community, but we never spared core services for anybody, and we continue to give the services that we have on the books today. But it's very important that we continue to be aggressive, to work with everybody. I mean, I've met with all the presidents of the schools and the park and the library, who I consider my neighbors and my friends. I understand their position. But I ask this, and we're very committed. Don't fight us on something that we believe in, because what we're doing here is creating revenue for the future of everybody, for all the taxing bodies. We need to create increment. Wix today is generating nothing. Wix tomorrow can generate $2 million a year. Prairie Park, everybody talks about my taxpayer dollars gave an incentive to a developer of $10 million. But today, that development is generating over $2 million, where back in 2002, it was paying an annual real estate tax bill of about $110,000 a year. Do the math. Do the math. Today with the laws, if there's impact to the schools, the Village of Wheeling, based on TIF laws, has to pay for that child to go to that school. Based on the TIF laws of any new residential development, over and above the base EAV, 40% has to be declared as a surplus back to the schools. We believe in what we're doing here, and it's important. This is the future. We will not sit here, none of us will sit here and settle for status quo. We need to move forward. We need to create the partnerships. We need to generate the revenues. We need to keep our tax base down. We need to increase the EAVs. It's important. Our town has changed drastically, where I think the residents in this town and the business in this town can walk around with their heads up high and be proud of everything that we're trying to do here. I am. Not long ago, you saw the pictures. Look at it today. And for those who think it's a joke, it's not. Friendship Park, call it a fountain of $1.5 million with an empty gas station that was dirty land, spearheaded for sure development up and down Milwaukee Avenue. That the people of the North Shore, the people to the west, the people to the east and the north, whatever, they respect. And actually, they're envious of us. And I'm proud of that too. We need to work together. Nobody's pulling fast ones here. The public needs to understand what we're doing here and be very transparent. I'm trying to do that. I have no hidden agenda here. None. Absolutely none. It is what it is. Our libraries are great. Our schools are good. Our park district is doing wonderful things. And we need to all do that together. We have a project right behind in our backyard. The synergy and the people that they're bringing to this community is wonderful for everybody. It generates dollars. It's not just about the dollars, it's about pride. I'm proud of what we're doing here. Because of TIFs and generating those other revenues, the building we're in here today, we're able to pay for. It helped us do that for the future of future generations. Our police departments, our fire department, our public works buildings, our facility here, our community boulevard, partnerships with the park. Because of TIF and generating those revenues that we wouldn't have had without it. These are very important. I know we have a confident law firm and our consultants. Again, we would not do anything that we didn't feel was within the law. And I believe that. Transparency is very important to this administration. In my newsletter, I try to be, every time we send out a newsletter. Again, my phone at Village Hall rings to my cell phone. Call me. I don't have 9 to 5 hours. I work 7 days a week because I want people to know. And I can call any one of my staff members 7/24. They answer their phones because that's what we're about. So I just wanted this to be a little presentation. Unfortunately, because of Cook County Assessor's Office, we had something on the agenda we wanted to approve, but we want to do it the right way. And we understand that. We need the certifications, and we'll get to that. But please, work with us. Work with us. It's important. I want to work with all the schools. I want the schools to be the best. I really do. My kids are a product of those schools. That's all I have. Okay, Madam Clerk, 13D.
13D, presentation by Chicago's North Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Thank you. Director Melantefe.
Thank you very much, President Argyris. The Westin Chicago North Shore Hotel approached the village regarding funding for membership in a convention bureau to enhance the marketing and promotional efforts for conventions, overnight accommodations, restaurants, museums, cultural attractions, and entertainment venues in Wheeling. The village budget does not currently allocate any funding for a convention bureau, and membership has been considered in past years but eliminated due to the really tough budget environment. Chicago's North Shore and Conventions Bureau is going to be making a presentation this evening to the village board to highlight the benefits of affiliation with their organization and the anticipated costs. At one time, the village of Wheeling was part of or affiliated with the Prospect Heights Convention and Visitors Bureau, but they no longer are. The Westin Hotel has really been a true partner with the village of Wheeling. Lauren Vernick is here tonight. She was past president of the Chamber of Commerce, been very active in Wheeling with our Taste of the Town event and our more recent manufacturing breakfast. So they've been great partners. And this evening we have not only Lauren Vernick, but Gina Speckman, with the North Shore Convention Bureau, and Aaron Bassable, and they're going to be providing some information on the benefits of a Convention Bureau affiliation. And with that, I'll turn it over to Gina. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Again, my name is Gina Speckman. I'm Executive Director of Chicago's North Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau, and thank you so much for allowing me to talk today. We are destination marketing pros. Chicago's North Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau is the certified destination marketing organization of the area with an annual budget of $1.3 million in partnership with the State of Illinois' Office of Tourism with a $52 million budget devoted solely to the reinvestment of local and state hotel, restaurant, sales taxes, which are used to increase visitation and spur economic development. Chicago's North Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau represents currently the communities of Evanston, Skokie, Glenview, Northbrook, Winnetka, and Prospect Heights. The city of Prospect Heights closed their own CVB in 2012 and joined Chicago's North Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau. Wheeling stands alone as the only community with a large hotel not benefiting from CVB representation, and its state hotel tax is currently distributed to other bureaus throughout the state. Chicago's North Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau has an annual budget, as I said, of $1.3 million and operates a full range of sales and marketing programs to achieve its goals, and we have a staff of 5. We go to trade shows, make direct sales calls, sales missions, printed collateral, some of which you have at your place setting. We do print advertisement, email campaigns, interactive websites, online advertising, social media, familiarization trips and site inspections, and public relations. And some of this is more detailed in this publication that I passed out today. Here are some samples of our printed publication. We have a visitor's guide that we distribute 75,000 a year of. This is another rack card that we have at visitor centers throughout the state of Illinois visitor centers, our surrounding states, and the city of Chicago's, Choose Chicago's visitor centers. Next, we have customized maps for each community. We highlight all of the North Shore's attractions, but then we customize it so that hotels in each of our communities can give guests exact directions on how to get around, how to get downtown, how to get to the attractions around. So Wheeling would have then its own dedicated map, and this is the other side of the map. Sorry. I thought this goes back, but I guess it doesn't. Thank you. We do dedicated photography of each of our communities. Most of our communities before the Bureau did not have photography that really sold the destination. They might have a building or, they take an outside of a building, but we really try to have aerial photography, video, professional photography that makes the destination engaging and make people want to come to it. We have an e-newsletter that goes out to 9,000 people on the first of every month, and that is a really great way for a lot of our North Shore communities to promote what is going on to their neighbors. We all have great chambers in all of our member communities, but this way we can get people to go between the other North Shore communities, which sometimes is a challenge. We have 2 websites. We have a corporate website for meeting planners and tour operators, and then we also have a leisure advertising destination website, destinationnorthshore.com. Right now we have our summer campaign going on. All of our hotels are always listed on every page of that campaign, and then whatever special events are going on in the communities, we have that highlighted. This is the landing page of over $50,000 of summer event advertising that we do annually. We also try to engage our retailers and our restaurateurs in promotions. So every month, we have a special promotion that allows people, instead of just saying, come shop here or come to this restaurant, we engage them in an activity that they're interested in, whether it be Mother's Day, whether it be spring fever, whether it be the holidays. And this is very popular with all our retail and restaurant members. We have an annual restaurant month that this February, we had finished our 5th one, and we have over 60 restaurants that participate with special offers. We do a lot of advertising for this online. We have food bloggers, social media, and we bring thousands of reservations to restaurants that usually don't have that during the month of February. And we also do targeted community advertising. We do a co-op program with each of our member communities. They identify what's important to them, and then we put together campaigns that address that. So you can see the top one is something that we did with the Village of Skokie to highlight their new restaurants downtown. Winnetka highlighted their retailers. Evanston highlighted its sidewalk sales that takes place in 4 different merchant districts. They're all customized and based on what the community wants to highlight. So we could really highlight some special things that are taking place in the Village of Wheeling. We also are very, very active in social media. We have a weekly reach of over 102,000 people between all our social media feeds. This is really important to our smaller members, our restaurants and our retailers who don't have the ability and the staffing or the expertise and knowledge to get their message out to a large social media base. They send it to us, and within 24 hours, it is out to our large feed. And this has become very valuable to our retail and restaurant members. And I think this is Aaron's slide, and he'll talk more about what we do specifically for our hotel members in the meeting and event marketplaces.
Thank you very much. Aaron Bastable, Director of Sales and Marketing at the Westin Chicago North Shore. Thank you very much for the opportunity to come today. President Argyris mentioned being aggressive and some of the surrounding communities being jealous of what's going on in Wheeling, and it's nice to see that as kind of a transition where we have Chicago's North Shore coming and asking Wheeling to be a part of their Convention and Visitors Bureau because we have so much to offer, not just the Westin. So just to kind of educate some of the folks here on the history, I believe we all know the hotel opened in 2006, October. We talked about some of the tax contributions that the hotel makes annually, as well as the property tax being one of the largest contributors in Wheeling. Just recently, August 2013, which is when I started at the Westin Chicago North Shore, TPG, in partnership with Rockbridge, purchased the property and committed to an immediate reinvestment. I'm proud to say today that $5.5 million invested towards the guest rooms will be in Q3 of 2014 this year. Additionally, just under $1 million will be invested in interior signage within the hotel, the landscaping, which you've probably seen already happening over the past few days, as well as new TVs in the guest rooms and refrigerators for our weekend leisure travelers and special interest groups. With the partnership with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the expectations are revenue growth and market share growth. We all understand that the competition is becoming more aggressive, and we want the partnership with the Convention and Visitors Bureau to help support our continued growth and maintaining our previous tax contributions and revenues. You may be familiar with the BMW Championships that we hosted in September of last year. Events like that, like ILETA, pinball, and the other weekend special interest conventions are what we're aiming to increase and capture with the Convention and Visitors Bureau. Proud to say, if you haven't heard, but the BMW Championships will be back in 2015 in September, and at this point, the Westin Chicago North Shore has a very strong chance of being the host again, and future years as well. The Chicago North Shore's CVB, they can really market specifically to those specific groups. Before they come, they can help enhance that attendance. They can also help enhance the spend that they have when they're here in town during the convention. So just a couple of segments. We're talking about convention industry, but also helping drive some of the social events, the bar bat mitzvahs, the weddings, the anniversary events, the celebrations that we host and we're proud to host at our property. We also drive the local, the drive-in, and the fly-in traffic. So really some of the additional benefits, penetrating the new markets. We found out through this discussion with Chicago North Shore CVB that they are currently receiving inquiries to ask for a hosting of an event, for instance, in the North Shore, maybe it's in Northbrook, and they cannot accommodate. And so they have to turn away those events. And bringing in this new ballroom, which we have, is 15,000 square feet, plus our entire meeting space at 35,000, brings an entirely new set of assets and amenities for the North Shore CVB. We can also extend the marketing efforts that we're all familiar with the Taste of the Town, Restaurant Row Hospitality Group, and also the seasonal family events. With the Wheeling Town Center and the Heritage Park Sports Complex coming online, Chicago CVB can really help push that out beyond Wheeling's boundaries, even into some of the traveling tournaments and the shoppers, diners for leisure travel. In conclusion, we're one of the largest tax contributors within the village. We know that. But we also, we want you to really understand that the Convention and Visitors Bureau is just one more step that Wheeling can take into the future growth by supporting this revenue infrastructure that we have in the Westin. The competition, they all have Convention and Visitors Bureau. We are the only full-service, top-tier hotel of our class that doesn't have representation. So they have a weapon that we don't have right now. And between the existing ventures and the future projects in the recovering tourism industry, this is the right time to reinvest back into Wheeling as a destination. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Questions from the board? Trustee Brady?
Thank you. In this fee, initiation and annual, whatever it is, if the Village of Wheeling were to join this, what would happen with the retail restaurants, et cetera? Would they also have to belong and join individually to be listed in your paperwork?
That's a great question.
Yes, we're membership-based, just like a chamber, so those businesses that wanted to be in the book would pay a membership fee, which is $200 entry fee, up to $600 if they have large banquet space. But, a lot of your restaurants, for example, Pete Miller's, Tuscany, we already work, they're in other areas I represent. So, that's, a lot of those would be easy. We already work with them in other destinations.
One of the biggest attractions here, as far as entertainment, is our park district. Our golf course, the ball fields you see out here, and the water park, which they've spent a lot of money on. Would that be included as a part of the village's fee, or do they have to join also individually?
They are members on their own, but if you look through that publication, you'll notice that most of them advertise. We list all the Park District facilities as part of the membership, as part of the village's membership. Most of them have found so much value in our ability to promote what they do that they take ads out in our book, which they pay for, and you can see for yourself in that book. They choose to buy those, but they are members as part of the village's membership.
Now, the membership fee, taking aside the initiation, that's due every year?
Yes.
Thank you.
Trustee Kruger, anything?
Yes, thank you. Gina, a question about the Chicago Executive Airport. The BMW Classic did certainly bring in quite a bit of travel in there. Would the Chicago Executive Airport be showcased as a member, kind of like the Park District?
Well, yeah, this was interesting. We've met with them because, you co-own that with Prospect Heights, and we now represent Prospect Heights. They would join as a member, and we've already met with them about that.
So
it's not automatically included.
Okay, so they would be a member who would pay an initial
Right,
fee?
but yes.
Okay, thank you.
That's like, less than $500. It's not a major fee, but they would pay a fee.
Okay.
Trustee here?
I was just going to wonder what the annual membership fee is for the village.
Do you want me to talk about that?
Sure, I'd be happy to answer that. When we looked at this, basically, if our hotel revenues are roughly 15 million, based upon the estimated tax collections of about 956,000, at 3% times 15% would be about $71,000. And this would be, based on past revenue, so we would have to look at what it would be with more current hotel tax revenues. But the new municipal members also pay an initial administrative fee of 50% of their annual dues. This fee is payable over 3 years. So what we've asked the village board to do tonight is consider this. I mean, we'd like to put this in the 2015 budget. We've proposed it in the past. The budget environment was just so tough at the time, but we just wanted to, get you start thinking about that and give us some direction on it. Thank you.
Is this an annual fee that we would pay, or is this?
Yes,
Yes.
once the initiation fee is paid out over the 3 years, the annual fee stays the same. Our finance committee has the ability to raise the fee up to 3% a year, but it doesn't automatically do that every year. It hasn't raised it in the last 4 or 5 years, but it has the right to.
Now, John, when you've, again, we can talk later time, have you reached out to any of these other communities that are listed in here? And how successful is it to them? An example, Skokie.
We have actually interviewed another convention bureau as well. I came from Arlington Heights. They represented the village of Arlington Heights. So we've tried to do our homework on what is available for the village. My colleagues in economic development certainly recognize the benefits of a convention bureau out there with professional staff going to all the trade shows and marketing those communities. And we felt that the Chicago North Shore Convention Bureau was a better geographic fit for the village of Wheeling and kind of fit in with the Westin Hotel's branding strategy of being the Westin Chicago North Shore. We will continue to conduct additional research to find out what other communities, and get some references from them as well. That's a great question.
Sure thing.
Speak in the mic, please. Well, we're on TV, that's why.
You spoke of Skokie. There's, a lot of hotels, Doubletree, Skokie, Renaissance, Northbrook. These hotels are welcoming of us joining because they want the exposure of additional markets that they're not getting right now. Heritage Park, that would be huge. You have Libertyville Sports Complex, but you don't have anything around here. I mean, that would be bringing tournaments. That would be bringing, you talk about the Wheeling Town Center. I mean, this is great exposure that not every suburb in the North Shore has. So I just see it as an added benefit.
Conceptually, I like it, and I look forward to discussing it further with our staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Hein.
Thank you. I think that we have to start looking to the future about developing new business in our community. And it's easy sometimes to develop the business, but it's also our duty to make sure that we continue to keep those businesses in town. A reason to come, a reason to stay, and a reason to come back. And that's what we have to do. We have to be able to take all the amenities that we have, including the airport, the Westin Hotel, the new town center, and we have to let everybody know that we have these amenities, even down to the Wheeling Historical Society and Lollipop Lane and all those kind of things that we promote internally. It's time to reach out. Many of our restaurants are patronized by a lot of people from the North Shore, and we go to the North Shore. And so it's time for us to make that move. I think it's a great investment. I really do.
Thank you. Trustee Vogel?
I have two questions. The administrative fee is another 50% of the $71,000? So you're talking like $105,000 you're looking for a budget?
That's correct.
Okay.
But there's also direct and indirect economic benefits. We spoke about this.
Right.
How many restaurants or sales are we going to generate from new conventions and so forth?
Correct. I understand that. It was just a question of what budget impact it was in total. Somebody mentioned up front that we used to get a share of the state tourism tax, and we belong to the Prospect Heights Tourism Bureau. How do we go about getting that back?
You can't. No, like when a visitor stays in a hotel in Wheeling, they're assessed a 12% tax.
Correct.
6% goes to the municipality, 6% goes to the state, and a third of that goes to the Tourism Promotion Fund that can only then be granted to certified convention and visitors bureaus. It is nothing that a community can get.
Okay, well, can that be, so in other words, that cannot be used to pay down that
No, that
$71,000?
matches. The whole program, the formula that was enacted to determine what a municipality paid was based on matching the state money. For every dollar of state money we get, we have to match it, and that formula was so that the state money derived from the tax that we get was matched locally.
So over time, the more people, the more municipalities you sign up, the lower the annual fee should be.
No, because we're getting more and more state money, and we don't get that money if we can't match it.
But the way the state is, they're giving you increases every year?
Through the worst of the recession, I got increases because they recognized the fact that of all the taxes, that tax was the first to bounce back, and they count on it. Nobody likes they love taxes that are paid for by out-of-towners. They don't have to feed them, educate them. Hotel tax is a tax that the state really likes.
I was going to credit your clout. I was going to credit your clout for getting all that increases, but okay, thank you.
Trustee Lang? Thank you. How quickly would we be incorporated in the literature?
Well, we've talked about that. It would have to take place sometime in 2015. A bureau has to have the municipality certify them in order to represent them, and our fiscal year starts July 1, and we weren't certified by the village. So that would have to take place, but we have talked about the fact that it would not have to wait until July of 2015, that probably around the first of the year, with discussions with my board of directors, we could find a way to start incorporating. Now, that publication comes out annually, but things like the website and everything else we do can be enacted pretty quick. Part of that initiation fee is so that we can get photography, we have to create the mapping. We fully represent every community equally. So we can't just start and then have nothing in which to highlight and showcase that community.
Okay. Some of your bigger guides, would we be able to be incorporated in that fairly quickly? I mean, when do you print?
That publication is at press now. It comes out every August. So in the visitor's guide, it would be next year's.
A year from August. Okay. I think it's a good program. I'd like to put it on the budget, consider it for the budget.
Okay. I too think it's a great program. It's a shame that we don't belong to a convention bureau. And I've always said that, we create partnerships with the businesses that we have in town by helping them reinvest and market those tools. Our economic development department in the last year have done tremendous things, but they can't do it all. And I think it's our responsibility to help them as well. Each business has their own budget of marketing and doing something, but if we can get that message out at a larger base, and the investment that the hotel is doing, which is in the millions, which we appreciate, and the synergy that you guys have created there is wonderful. I love the BMW Classic. I love Alita coming back. I mean, these are all, you had the chess club guys there over the weekend. There was a million of them. There's 600 of them or something. These are all positive things that are using our businesses here in town. And you know what? We need to invest some dollars in marketing that. And I think it's important. So my sense of the consensus here is please try to put that on the budget for 2015. Work with our economic development department and let's get something going. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
We'll have that for your consideration as part of an expanded level sheet for the 2015 budget.
Thank you. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Gina. E?
E, resolution awarding a facade improvement grant for Decca Restaurant, 401 East Dundee Road.
Thank you. Director Janik.
Thank you. This concerns Decca Restaurant. Earlier tonight, they were on the liquor agenda. This concerns facade improvement grant, improvements to the facade as well as the exterior patio and walkway to the restaurant. The petitioner has requested, there's a sheet showing the costs. They're way more than the facade grant can provide, but the staff has or does suggest providing approximately $49,000 in facade grant to the petitioner.
Thank you. Questions from the board? Entertain a motion?
So moved.
Motion by trustee here, second by trustee Vogel. Roll call.
Trustee Vogel? Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
President Argyros?
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very
Looking forward
much.
to the grand opening.
Thank you.
Good luck. 13F.
Ordinance repealing ordinance number 1926, 2982, and 3540, and granting special use and associated site plan approval for Route 21 Auto Wash and Detail, 400 North Milwaukee Avenue.
Thank you.
Docket number PC 14-7.
Director Janik.
Thank you. This concerns an existing car wash on North Milwaukee Avenue. Petitioner here tonight requesting site plan and special use approval. What's happening relative to the legislation is that since the car wash, there's a car wash in existence at the site, this is a repealing basically of the site plan, and it's going to continue as a car wash. The car rental on site today will not continue. But so the site plan has changed, getting rid of the car rental. They are adding to the building, however, in 2 locations.
Okay. Questions from the board? Trustee Brady?
Mark, we didn't get no plans, no pictures, no nothing on this agenda. You know, a lot went on with improvements, additions and improvements and landscaping. We don't have a
It should be in here.
No, it ain't. It says attached, but it's not.
Yes.
It's,
You have it? I've got mine.
Do you guys have it?
Would have it on mine.
What on mine?
What
Well, I got
page?
the hard copy.
Yeah, yours.
Yours must be in Texas.
I don't have mine either.
You don't have yours either?
No
You don't
pictures.
have his.
Yeah, it's right here.
But I've got it on mine. There were
82?
there was facades, there was photographs, there's a plan.
It's at the end of the presentation.
right, it follows all the plan commission minutes. It's
Page 3.
probably 25 pages. What page?
382. It's the first visual of the car wash edition.
Okay, there it is. Thank you. I couldn't find it when I first downloaded it.
Oh, okay.
Very good.
We just wanted to make you nervous.
Anybody else have any questions? Mr. Janik, I believe there's 9 or 10 conditions to this ordinance.
Yes.
Can I read them for the record, please?
Let me go back to it, sorry.
Want to add anything? No. Listen to the conditions, Vice. Okay.
Okay, there's 10 conditions.
Okay.
First condition is that the wooden fence along the south and west property lines be repaired and/or replaced as needed. I believe that what they want to do is put in a chain link fence. The truck rental operation will cease operation within 30 days of the property transaction taking place. That the ordinance to repeal and replace ordinances 1926, 2982, and 3540 include a provision that explicitly waives the covenant requirement to close the Mayor Avenue driveway if the automobile rental ceases operation. Number 4, that the lot is to be repaved. Number 5, that a bike rack is added near the employee parking area. Number 6, the east elevation overhead door will be transparent glass with aluminum frame to match the south elevation doors. Number 7, that a stripe is added along the west edge of the sidewalk to visually separate the driveway from the sidewalk. Number 8, that bollards are added inside the trash enclosure to protect the building. Number 9, that the specific grass and ornamental tree must be identified on the revised landscaping plan. And number 10, that signage or striping is added to prevent vehicles from blocking the Mayor Avenue driveway.
Thanks. Do you guys want to add anything to that?
No, I just want to clarify, on the first item, the wooden fence is already existing on the south side of the property. That's going to be repaired. The west side has no fence. We're going to add a chain link fence.
Okay. Got that, Mark?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything else is exactly as we agreed to.
When are you guys looking to do all this? Anytime
Like
soon?
very soon,
Very soon?
August.
Okay. With the conditions, entertain a motion?
Mr.
Moved. Oh, sorry.
Before we
Brady?
do that, one other point, Meyer Avenue, that was closed years ago because of the complaints from the residents in there that cars would come in and out there and cut through the subdivision instead of going out to Milwaukee Avenue. If we allow that to be just open, does that mean that the one-way status or the right turn or left turn only coming out of the car wash is going to be maintained, or is that all out the window?
The idea is that the same access to and from the site would continue after this, after the transaction would take place. We have at least staff, at least CD has not received any complaints from residents relative to traffic. It was a request of the petitioner, and we don't feel that it would be a negative situation.
Going out to Meyer Avenue, you could turn right and cut through the subdivision.
Yes.
Actually,
well, go ahead.
If I may, Mayer's a one-way drive. You can only turn left.
Okay,
You cannot turn right. It's going to remain a one-way street.
Well, it was made one-way because of the truck rental.
Yes.
But we said we're throwing that all out now. Don't throw the one-way out.
Correct. That's our understanding, that it'll remain a one-way.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Motion made by trustee Brady with the 10 conditions, second by?
Second.
Trustee here, roll call.
Trustee here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
President Juris?
Yes. Welcome, guys.
Thank you very much.
Looking forward to it.
Come get your cars washed.
We go there now. So, 13G,
A resolution adopting a vehicle idling reduction initiative for the Village of Wheeling.
Manager Spondelis.
Thank you. I'm happy this evening to present an anti-idling initiative that was originally brought to us by a resident, researched by staff, and then written to meet our specific needs in our community. It is a positive and proactive voluntary effort that we're happy to present to you, that is intended to continue doing our part. We've done our part with green initiatives here to reduce the carbon footprint of our impact to our area and our environment. It was an excellent idea, one that we could easily institute, and one that I think the board will support in the manner with which we wrote it. Obviously, this is a voluntary effort. We cannot legislate that no one will let their car run. However, to combat that, we can certainly promote the effort through educational means. We intend to first take care of our own house and put up signs at all of the parking areas at village facilities, the Wheeling Metro Station, and the parkways adjacent to schools. Further, each department that has fleet vehicles has written and instituted their own no idle policies so that village vehicles will not be left idling. Those are already in place. And to further the initiative beyond just this public forum, we intend to send letters to businesses that have fleet vehicles or shipping and receiving docks and provide them with signage should they wish to participate. Obviously, that letter would promote the initiative and ask for their participation, and we expect that they would want to join in the effort. So we will provide for them a no idling sign that they could install in their either waiting areas, waiting corrals, or their shipping and receiving docks.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes, thank you. How does this affect emergency vehicles?
It depends on the situation, and I could turn over to each of the two public safety chiefs. I think I can say in general that unless an engine or a vehicle in general needs to be running in order to deal with the emergency situation, they will be shut off. Is that a fair statement?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Trustee Brady?
Canadian National. Where we going? going to be able to do anything to send them a letter too?
It's a complete, there already exists, actually, law for the railroads. However, the law is that they can, it's fairly extensive. I know blocking intersection is 20 minutes. And I'm sorry that I don't know it off the top of my head, but there are federal regulations that determine how long a train can idle. I can get you that information. I don't know it off the top of my head, but it is not something that we can regulate.
We can enforce that currently, and we do. If trains idle at intersections, the police department has the right to address that. North of Dundee Road, you got residential, and the trains parked there, on the side track, and they idle forever. We had complaints on that. We'd have to take a look at that specifically.
And I should have said, we can enforce it, we can't change the regulation.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Trustee Lang?
Chuck Spratt's not here tonight. Oh, there he is. Chuck, you're over there always. You mentioned to me the other day about a control that you had placed on village vehicles. Can you fill us in a little bit, everybody in on that?
About a year ago, I found a system. It's from a company in California. It's called EchoLock. And what it does is all police cars have lockouts on them, so they can flip a switch and leave the car. The car runs, but it cannot be stolen. The transmission's locked in gear. What this system does is, instead of it idling constantly, it monitors the temperature of the car and the voltage in the car and shuts the engine on and off only as the car requires the electricity or the heat.
Wow.
So they cannot idle them. It automatically takes over.
Good.
Thank you.
Just want to make a quick note to Marianne Ligori from Wolf Run, who had brought this to our attention maybe about a month ago or something. Thank you, Marianne, for bringing this out. We appreciate it. With that, I entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Trustee Vogel, second by Trustee Brady. Roll call, please.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
President Argyros?
Yes, thank you. 13H.
H, ordinance amending various sections of Title 13 Water and Sewers, Chapter 13.04 Water Connections and Use of the Wheeling Village Code relating to responsibility of water service pipes and meters.
Thank you, Mr. Ferrella.
Thank you, Mr. President. The enclosed code amendments merely clarify the responsibilities of the village and property owners with respect to water connections, pipes, and meters. After this cold winter, or during this cold winter, we had several occasions where meters had to be replaced due to frost and broken pipes. And the village went out and replaced those meters and found that the frost and freezing occurred due to the negligence of the property owner. The code amendments, in working with staff, helped to clarify that a property owner is responsible to keep water meters and pipes in good repair and protect them from frost, mainly by protecting them from frost and other dangers, so as to avoid damage to the meters and pipes. If they fail to do that, this clarifies the ordinance that I believe already existed, but it makes it far more clear that the bill will be sent to the property owner.
Thank you. Questions from the board? Just a statement. How do we get that message out to the water customers? Is there something generic we can send out with the bill?
Good.
Close to winter?
Sure.
Because the calls that Mr. Stavros and Jeff and myself had, and probably all of us up here, received over the winter about how they had to pay for something, that they were shocked. We can get that message out somehow. You got some time, but prior to winter, maybe with the water bill?
Sure.
I mean, generic.
Certainly the newsletter.
Right.
We have many outlets that we can.
Besides the newsletter, but I think
out.
it's got to be part of that bill. Okay, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Lang. Second?
Second.
Second, Trustee Hein. Roll call.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger? Yes. President Argyros?
Yes, 13I.
Resolution approving a contract with Instituform Technologies USA LLC for the jointly bid 2014 sewer lining project.
Director Janik.
Thank you. This is a contract village staff is suggesting the village board accept. It's with a company that lines sanitary sewer pipe in the community. The contract is valued at approximately $211,000, and it will allow the lining of approximately 7,500 linear feet of sanitary sewer pipe in the village.
Thank you. Questions from the board? Entertain a motion. Trustee Brady, second. Trustee Kruger, roll call.
Trustee Here,
Yes.
Trustee Lang,
Yes.
Trustee Vogel,
Yes.
Trustee Hein,
Yes.
Trustee Kruger,
Yes.
President Juris.
Yes, thank you. 13J.
Resolution waiving competitive bidding and accepting a proposal from All-Star Asphalt for Wabash Property Access Road Improvement.
Thank you. Director Janik.
Thank you. As part of the Jeffrey Avenue bridge replacement, the village is, it's necessary for the village to get an easement from Wabash Power and then improve the existing drive that extends from Meadowbrook subdivision to south to the industrial complex. This contract is with All-Star Asphalt. All-Star Asphalt is located in the village of Wheeling, and it's a $39,000 contract for them to improve, widen, and otherwise make ready for use for the residents of Meadowwood to use alternate access during the bridge construction.
Thank you. Questions from the board? Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Lang, second by Trustee Vogel, roll call.
Trustee Here,
Yes.
Trustee Lang.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Vogel,
Yes.
Trustee Hein,
Yes.
Trustee Kruger,
Yes.
President Juris.
Yes, 13K.
Resolution waiving competitive bidding and accepting a proposal from Overhead Material Handling Illinois to furnish and install a 10-ton capacity bridge crane in the Fleet Service Maintenance
Thank you.
Facility.
Director Janik.
Thank you. This is a contract that the village staff is suggesting that the board accept. It's for approximately $49,000. This is a crane, a proposed crane to be located in Public Works. When the Public Works facility was constructed, this crane was considered at that time. However, it was not installed. Director Spratt, or excuse me, not Director Spratt, Superintendent Spratt and Director Stavros have done some substantial research relative to this crane. It's for the mechanics to use when they're pulling engines and that sort of thing. That's it.
Trustee Brady?
So moved.
Second.
No, it's about time.
How many years?
Trustee Brady, second by Trustee Vogel, roll call.
Trustee Here,
Yes.
Trustee Lang.
Yes.
Trustee Brady,
Yes.
Trustee Vogel,
Yes.
Trustee Hein,
Yes.
Trustee Kruger,
Yes.
President Juris.
Yes, 13L.
Resolution accepting a bid and approving a contract with Kanzler Landscaping Construction Incorporated for the Middle Lane improvements.
Thank you. Director Janik.
Thank you. The village currently owns property on Meadow Lane, on the north side of Meadow Lane. Discussion on this topic has taken place several times over the past year or so. Tonight, before you is the contract for approximately $881,000 for Kanzler Landscape Company to clear trees and excavate the property for compensatory storage volume.
Thank you. Questions from the board?
This is a low bid.
Trustee Vogel?
Just one. This contract's going to create that 13.8 acre feet?
This contract creates approximately 13.8 acre feet of compensatory storage. That's correct.
Wasn't there some talk a few weeks ago that they were going to dig deeper or do whatever to create additional storage for
Yes.
property? Is that
The
still in the
contractor,
works?
the contractor has indicated to the village, and in fact, I've got engineering drawings showing more extensive excavation of the site. There are attorneys here tonight to discuss this if you'd like, but it's my understanding that they do intend on providing more compensatory storage at the site, perhaps as much as 20 acre feet. The additional cost of that storage, as well as maintenance of the basin, would be their responsibility.
Okay, I just figured it would all get done at once.
That's correct. That's our understanding. We do have to approve engineering drawings to allow that to happen, which we are reviewing right now, as well as our consultant engineer, Gaywald Hamilton. But that is my understanding.
So it's in the works yet. Okay, good. Thank you.
Trustee Hines, you have something? Nothing. Mr. Shapiro, you want to add anything to that?
No, I think that it's been summarized well. I will tell you that we have been meeting with staff on a weekly basis to go through those engineering drawings, and are very appreciative of the attention that staff has given to us. And the last time we were here, we talked about the notion of a development agreement, and Mr. Ferrolo and I are actively working on that as well.
Great, thank you. Anybody else? Entertain a motion?
So move.
Motion by
Second.
trustee Hines, second by trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
President Argyros?
Yes, thank you. 13M?
Resolution terminating a contract with Jetco Limited and accepting a contract with L&T Painting for the rehabilitation and recoating of Central Receiving Station, CRS.
Thank you. Director Janik.
Thank you. As part of ongoing maintenance of our water storage facilities, there's a contract, there's a request by staff to reject the contract that was previously provided by Jetco. They were low bid. However, during the conferences after the bidding was done, it turns out that Jetco did not fully understand the process, the paint process that was being requested of it. Because they weren't able to do that, we've discussed with Jetco that they would give up the contract, and we are now suggesting that the contract be provided to the second lowest bidder. The difference in cost is approximately $30,000.
Questions from the board?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Brady, second by
Second.
trustee Krueger. Roll call.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
President Argyros?
Yes, thank you. 13N.
Resolution rejecting all bids for the corrugated metal arch pipe replacement project.
Thank you. Director Janik.
This is an existing storm sewer pipe that is corrugated metal, and it's deteriorating. The CIP project being proposed tonight, or requesting a rejection of the bid that was previously provided to the village. The green on the sheet there shows the original path of the new pipe, or the existing pipe, and it was being replaced. Because of the problems that we are having with the utilities in the backyards of the properties on the original location, we are suggesting we have decided to relocate the pipe within village right-of-way, within the streets. We're hoping that this is going to reduce the cost of the pipe, as well as reduce the conflicts with the utilities, particularly ComEd, in the rear of the properties. So we are suggesting that the board reject the previous bid that was provided to the village, and we're going to receive additional bids for the new alignment this week.
Okay. Questions? Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Lang, second by trustee Vogel. Roll call.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
President Argyros?
Yes. 13O.
Discussion regarding vehicle purchases.
Thank you. Managers Fondos.
Thank you. This evening, we have a discussion on the topic of purchasing a number of vehicles, 2 in the fire department, 2 in the public works department. In your packet are lengthy memos from each of the respective department heads and Fleet Superintendent Spratt that discuss the reasons behind why we're bringing this to you. And normally what we would do is just bid these out and bring you the results of those bids to approve the contract. But being sensitive to the fact that just in the fire department alone, the purchase of 2 pieces of apparatus totals $1.5 million, we thought it was appropriate to bring it to you now and seek direction from you before we get involved in the lengthy process of bidding this out. Speaking specifically about the fire department, the chief has put a lot of effort with Lieutenant Durkin and our fleet superintendent in coming up with some creative options that we believe are going to save us a significant amount of money. So what we wanted to do was present those to you this evening and, again, seek your direction. Similarly, the Department of Public Works has 2 pieces of equipment, dump trucks specifically, that are up for replacement. And we're going to talk about what that means, up for replacement, because all 4 pieces of equipment, 2 in fire, 2 in public works, have far exceeded their life expectancy when they were entered into our fleet many years ago. And they will go into more detail on that. But those are also expensive pieces of equipment. Superintendent Spratt has come up with a number of options to consider as we move forward in the bidding process, and that one is much more just informational because we'll come back to you with more detail once we can vet some of those options a little bit and see how we can bid them out. But the chief has a brief presentation. Again, the detail information is provided to you in your memo in great detail, so hopefully you've all at least skimmed that. A picture tells 1,000 words, and I think everyone will understand why we're at the place we're at, asking for such expensive pieces of equipment to be replaced. And I will start off what I'm sure will be reiterated by mentioning that all pieces of equipment that we're talking about tonight are in the SURF. The monies for those replacements are in the SURF. We are not asking for additional monies, and that will be detailed a little bit more as we go through the presentation. So with that, Chief McIsaac.
Thank you very much. A little background, we've been looking into this process for approximately 7 months. We've put together a plan tonight that we feel meets the needs of the fire department, meets the financial direction given to us at budget time by the village board to think outside of the box, to be a little creative, look at different options. And we took a learning exercise that some of you might remember back in 2007 when we were faced with a situation involving a crash truck, a squad truck, and a pumper, and we went outside of the box back then, and we came up with a combined vehicle to meet some of these needs. So we've gone about this process in a very similar way. The vehicles we're looking to replace, the first one is Truck 24. It is 20 years old. A testament that you're going to hear tonight over and over again is the fact that we have a wonderful fleet services department here. As the manager alluded, a lot of these items have already met and exceeded their anticipated life, and that's a credit to the people that work in fleet services who have kept these vehicles going. This particular vehicle alone has over 273,000 equivalent road miles on it. As you'll see in a minute, it has a number of issues that have come up where we're faced with a situation of where do we keep putting money into a very tired vehicle. As the manager pointed out, pictures, these are taken from the undercarriage of the vehicle, and what you can start to see is some of the delamination on the frame members. The frame is, if you will, the structural members that hold the vehicle together. The tanks you see that are corroded are air brake tanks. The wiring you see there is an old style of electrical system that was very common 20 years ago in these types of vehicles. Again, just to put it in a perspective, it's more than just a pretty paint job. Some more different pictures. The picture on the bottom here is corrosion on the ladder assembly of that particular vehicle. The body of the vehicle is showing signs of wear and tear cosmetically. Engine 42, actually to show you part of this process that we didn't anticipate, is we actually started looking at our oldest vehicle, which I'll show you in a minute, and we actually started to look at the maintenance and wear and tear on a particular frontline vehicle that we have now. This vehicle has been in frontline service for 12 years. Historically, we try to keep vehicles 10 years in frontline service, 5 in reserve for pumpers. But there was a timing issue when we last replaced vehicles in the department. Originally, we had 2 vehicles of the exact same age, and we tried to stagger them out, and that's how we got a little out of alignment here. But the more interesting factor is that this particular vehicle, which is stationed right here out of Dundee Road, has almost 400,000 of equivalent road miles on it. Again, there's very few personal vehicles out there, I'm sure, today that are running with that kind of mileage. And again, that's a testament to the mechanics that we have here in this village. It is the busiest engine company in the village, and ironically, it is the busiest engine company in the northwest suburbs. Last year alone, it ran 2,600 calls, and a lot of that has to do with our road structure, configuration of residential housing in our community, and things of that nature. And it was determined during the analysis by Fleet Maintenance is that it too had a number of very, very expensive upcoming repairs and issues that needed to be done. Again, you can see some of the delamination here in the frame assembly, separation of frame liners, the air brake system, some suspension issues right in here. And as I stated, we initially looked at replacing our oldest vehicle, which was a 2000 Sutphen. It's at its 15-year life. And because of the timing of previous purchases, the first thing that we noticed is it didn't have as many road miles as our older vehicle, as our previous vehicle, and started looking at it mechanically, and started to realize that this vehicle, with some minor modifications, could actually get its life extended another 5 years. And so part of the plan that we're looking at tonight is to replace the first two vehicles that I showed you, that we have determined far and exceed their useful life for the village, but refurbishing an older vehicle to actually continue to serve as our reserve apparatus, and most of the items that it needs are minor wear and tear and some cosmetic and lighting equipment. When we looked at this, we also looked at what is the current value of those vehicles, and we hired a company years ago called BMP Apparatus to broker our vehicles and sell them. We found that that was a much more effective way of disposing of vehicles versus going to the municipal auctions or trading them in. And we asked BMP Apparatus to give us current appraisals, and you can see here in the slide the current appraised values of our vehicles. So what we're looking for tonight is some direction from you, the board. Part of the idea that we've placed together is that when we looked into this process, we found out that to replace a current pumper on the open market right now, an engine, is around $600,000. To replace a ladder truck today is about $1.2 million. In looking and researching this, we found that because of the specialized nature associated with these vehicles, that when you're willing to purchase two vehicles at one time from the same vendor, you're in a negotiating situation where you can negotiate a much better deal. And we believe that we can actually purchase these two vehicles from a single source vendor and get it under $1.5 million, saving somewhere right off the get-go of around $200,000 to $300,000. So we're looking for direction tonight to make a combined purchase with a commitment not to exceed $1.5 million. We would be coming back to you at a later date to officially waive competitive bids and to approve an official contract once we've worked out a deal with a successful vendor, and allow the Fire Department Apparatus Committee, which includes representatives of Fleet Services, to also, as part of that negotiation, think out of the box. Some of the ways we feel we can also save some money is to buy a demonstrator model. Just like automobiles, they build these things. Some of them are built speculatively. There are those that come down the fleet line, the processing line, where we feel that we should look at those and consider purchasing perhaps a demo model or what's called a pre-production model. Pre-production models are those vehicles that a vendor will actually manufacture and then use to display at national conventions and conferences. And sometimes, since they don't have a purchaser already lined up for that, they're willing to negotiate on the price as long as we allow that vehicle to be shown. So again, we're looking to work with a single vendor and try to get a good price here. The bottom line, we would be coming back to the board for that official action at another date and time. But again, what we're looking for is your general concept approval tonight of this idea. We would then move ahead with the plan for selling truck 24 and engine 42, and we would use the same broker to maximize our return on that sale, and that we would put money in from all of this processing as outlined in your memo to put some refurbishment money into Reserve Engine 23 to extend its vehicle life for approximately 5 years. In your package, you'll notice we've given you a spreadsheet that takes into account our current surf balances, our current anticipated sale from the appraisals, the amount of money needed for the refurbishment, and as alluded to by the village manager, we do in fact have the finances to do this, and we feel that as presented to you tonight, we will actually maximize the village's funds by reducing the cost of purchasing these vehicles simultaneously.
Thanks, Chief. Questions from the board before I go to Mr. Spratt regarding the public works issues? Yes. Trustee here.
I just want to say I'm in favor of this. I think safety is the utmost, especially driving the vehicles around that have that kind of mileage on it and that kind of wear and tear. So I have no problems moving forward.
Trustee Hein?
I think that's real good planning, buying from one vendor and putting these packages together. That really makes sense. And to take a vehicle that we've got that can be rebuilt and put back in service for another five years or so. So if we got the money to do it, I think you should go ahead and keep going with the plan.
Thank you. Trustee Brady?
Thank you. You know, I first read this, 24, we just bought 24. So you see the dates and what year this is. Time flies. You know, it's a shame that we didn't do this a little earlier, but, you know, everybody's right. This is the right thing to do. We got to keep the equipment running. And I know there, through insurances and everything else, there is such a deal where the fire department can't keep things too long because all of a sudden you're going to lose certifications on old equipment. You know, I'm just asking. Surf tables for these. Same as we buy squad cars or trucks for public works, et cetera. Is there anything that the state offers in the way of, you know, recommendations that they could lead us to a company that sells engines at a reasonable price to municipalities?
It's interesting you should ask. The Northwest Municipal Conference has a joint purchasing program. Matter of fact, my counterpart here, Tim Durkin, and I have co-chaired that for a number of years on and off and done that with ambulances. They also do fire engines. Actually, this is one of the rare times we are very confident we can beat the price for the Northwest Municipal Conference. Right now, to outfit a pumper to our current specifications is almost $600,000. We feel we can get this right now with a combined package under $500,000. So while yes, there are packages out there, our research leads us to believe that by dealing in-house and negotiating a package here with the team, we can beat that and save the village almost $100,000.
How many engine manufacturers are there in the country?
I couldn't quote you the exact number, but the number has dramatically shrunk over the last 10 years because of the recession. You're down to probably less than 20 that make engines in this country and probably less than a half a dozen that make ladder trucks.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Go ahead, John.
I'd just like to add something, Trustee Brady. The chief is being a bit modest by saying that he chaired the committee. What he's really saying is that he wrote the specs from which the entire Northwest Municipal Conference and all the communities therein are buying their vehicles from. So it can't be understated, the work of this committee and the work that they've done not only for the Village of Wheeling, but for all the communities in the Northwest Municipal Conference. And that just goes to show you how respected they are and their expertise on the matter, especially ambulances. And I know you didn't say it, but it's out there, so I thought I'd take the opportunity.
You know what? In knowing Keith for so many years, it doesn't surprise me.
Trustee Lang?
Thank you. Well, I've seen these vehicles up close and personal, and I can attest, you know, to speak to the board that they are in need of replacement. The beauty is that we have the funds. Hats off to our predecessors on this board who thought about putting SURF money together so we can make a purchase like this and not affect the residents. The other thing, Keith, what kind of features and benefits can we expect on these new vehicles that we don't have today? I mean, 20 years later on a vehicle must be really much better
benefits?
Well, the biggest thing you're going to find is general improvements in fuel economy, emissions. Tonight you talked about green effect. There's a lot of green features built into the diesel engines that come with these vehicles today. Electrical is probably the largest improvement, and I think Superintendent Spratt would tell you that fire truck electrical systems drives his organization nuts. And the good part is they've now gone to a much more refined system than what they used to be. And because of LED lighting, they've been able to reduce the electrical wear and tear on vehicles because the draw is so much less. So those would probably be the biggest ones. Functionality, they're still going to do the same things. They're going to pump water, carry water, have a big ladder. From a safety standpoint, all the new vehicles have airbags, rollover protection for our people that they didn't have years ago. The trucks we have now were cutting edge at their time. They have 3-point seatbelt harnesses, and that was pretty radical when we bought them. Today they've evolved into just like an automobile with airbags technology.
Thank you.
Trustee Vogel?
Just a couple quick questions. First, I agree with everybody. We do have to replace these, but looking forward, Chuck, how much should we put aside each year in the SURF for engine 23? Do you know offhand? Somebody said there were charts in here, but
It's basically straight line depreciation.
over,
Take the cost of the truck and divide it over the lifespan.
okay. Well, by adding 5 years to the life of that, I mean, we're giving up $300,000 out of the SURF fund, taking it away from that engine. Are we going to be able to make that up, straight lining it over the next 5 years, or we're going to have to add more to the budget down the road?
On page 5 of your report, it shows you the current revenues, the balances on these vehicles. The current fund balance for Reserve 23 is $444,000. We're doing some readjustment, and if you go to the very bottom here, we'll need to make a slight adjustment here of $69,740 per year is what we're to put in. So we're basically increasing our contribution about $9,000
Okay.
per year.
Over the remaining life, then? That's too bad. Okay, that's not a big worry. Thank you.
Trustee Heine, you had something else?
Is this our third Sefton ladder truck, or is this the second one?
This is our second one. The one we have right now is our second one.
Okay,
The one before it was a 69 Sutphen.
right, okay.
Thanks. I believe the consensus is to move forward with that, but I just wanted to clarify for those in the audience here, what is a SURF fund? It's a Capital Equipment Replacement Fund, CERF. Every single department in this community has a line item in their own budget to put dollars in there to replace equipment, just like we're talking about now, from office furniture to fire trucks. So every year in our budget, we contribute dollars from the general fund for purchases like this. So just to be clear. Otherwise, if we didn't have that, we'd be amending budgets, taking from our reserve fund, scraping from here to here to try to buy 2 trucks that we're in desperate need for.
In fact, you'd be bonding for this particular
For this particular case, yeah, because of the dollar amount. So, Mr. Spratt, thank you, and your staff, Mr. Stavros, department. And good job, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Now, getting to Public Works. You have a couple items that you're requesting as well.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to defer this to Mr. Spratt shortly. Tonight, we're just bringing you the what we're going to be requesting in a few months. Hopefully, we'll have some numbers for you, hard numbers. We have some estimates tonight on 2 vehicles that need to be replaced. Both vehicles are in desperate need of replacement due to severe corrosion, leakage, cracked frames. One is a unit, is the 2000 single axle dump and 1998 tandem axle dump. Both these dump trucks are first line dumps. They're for snow removal. The tandem axle dump truck is our first line dump also for water main breaks. And as it is right now, excuse me, I'm desperately afraid if we raise the box up and jerk it to unload it, we may lose the box off the frame. That's how bad it is.
Okay.
I attached the reports from Mr. Spratt and I believe he's here and he can explain or answer any questions you have. We will be looking at some other options in the coming months as well. The report mentions a hook truck, which is a versatile truck for universal bodies, hooking different bodies onto one frame. So one frame chassis can use interchangeable bodies. And also looking at a new type of salt spreader as well. So with that, I'll turn any questions over to Mr. Spratt.
Trustee Kruger, any comments? Your liaison to PW.
No, I have none.
Anybody else from the board? Trustee High? Here?
I just think the same thing. You got safety. If the bed of that truck falls off, you know, and injures someone, I mean, they're liable as well. Safety is important. Thank you.
Trustee Brady, anything?
Well, they use these trucks. They use them a lot. They use them every day. You know,
beat them up.
They're constantly on the go and constantly being put into situations because of emergencies that they're not supposed to be in. But nevertheless, you know, that's what you have to do. I was just wondering, you know, in looking through these pictures of the fire apparatus, and I suppose in these trucks too, a lot of corrosion happens underneath because of the, you know, these trucks are in use in the wintertime. Do we have any method of underspraying these things periodically, like some of these car washes do, to keep that salt out of there?
Yeah, we do now that at the new facility, we have a full-size wash bay. And a couple of years ago, we instituted, at the end of every salt season, we bring them in. We can actually put them up on our lifts and get underneath and pressure wash them and then seal them with an undercoating. And we pressure wash them every year and undercoat them every 2 years. So from 2009 and on, I think we're going to get better life out of these frames.
How about even see if you can build a rig that periodically, maybe every couple of weeks, you can pressure wash the underneath as winter goes on, because that salt laying underneath there for you know, months during the winter could still do a lot of damage.
Right. We do have an attachment that we bought for our steam cleaner that it's a wand that you can slide underneath the truck, and it has 5 rotating heads that spray water up underneath it. And we do use that whenever we can. This winter, I'll be honest, in my almost 19 years here, we have never been this busy.
You never had any trucks in there. Everything's out on the street.
But I'll tell you, in talking to my other fleet managers in the area in my group, we fared a lot better than them. And I think that is because we had an aggressive replacement program. Our trucks were in better shape in general. But these two in particular, 17 and 15 years old, when I first got here, the lifespan of those trucks was predicted at 10 years. So we've squeezed quite a bit of life out of these 2 trucks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody down? Trustee Lang, Vogel? Consensus from everybody to move forward?
Yes.
Go.
Yes.
Okay. Chuck, again, to your staff, the mechanics, you guys had a heck of a winter. And you kept it going. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Official communication. Let me start with Trustee Brady. Welcome back.
Thank you. I have nothing to report.
Anything? Nothing?
Nothing.
Trustee Lang, how about you?
No, nothing tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Hine?
Nothing this evening.
Congratulations on your appointment as President of the Historical Society.
Thank you.
It was a nice event there the other day. Trustee Hare?
Nothing. Thank you.
Trustee Kruger?
Yeah, I have one thing. I just want to share that I was able to have an opportunity to go visit the family day at Adlerada Villa on Saturday, where there was a company, it's a not-for-profit called Maine in Heaven, spelled M-A-N-E, with miniature horses for therapy. And they had 3 of them there, and they just bring so much joy and compassion to people who otherwise may be just completely sedentary in their wheelchair and not want to move. But once they see these little horses, and they do truly visit with the patients. Now, this was an outdoor picnic activity, so everyone was a little more upbeat, but they have gone to hospitals, children's centers, and I can't speak enough about how great this organization is and what they do for There's people in need.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Trustee Vogel?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Clerk Simpson?
I have two.
A little bit.
Good.
The Wheeling Garden Club is hosting at the Indian Trails Libraries tomorrow at 7 p.m. Plant Partners presented by Colleen Gruddens and Toby Koch. It's a program that's showing what plants live well together, and it starts at 7 o'clock at the Indian Trails Library tomorrow, Tuesday, June 3rd. And the Police Academy Alumni Association is having a pancake breakfast fundraiser this coming Sunday at the Senior Center on Strong. It'll be from 8 o'clock, from 9 o'clock until noon on Sunday, June 8th. And you can eat pancake, sausage, tater tots. There's a sweet table, coffee, OJ, and milk. The tickets are available at the door. It's $8 for adults, and children under 5 are free.
That it?
That's it.
Thank you. I have a couple things real quick. On behalf of the village, we'd like to congratulate our friends over at Chicago Executive Airport, their staff, on the recent award they received from the Northeast chapter of the American Association of Airport Executives for their hard work to remove snow during the demanding winter of 2013 through 2014. The biggest factor that helped them achieve this award, that the airport stayed open and never closed during over 80 inches of snow at Chicago Executive Airport, which is pretty amazing if you think about it. So congratulations to the staff over there. Let's see. Just save the date. An evening under the stars is planned for July 3rd, just like we did last year, next to Village Hall. This year's musical entertainment from 5:30 to 6:30 will be DJ Alberto Toro. From 6:45 to 7:45, the Reinhardts, the Midnight Band. And from 8:15 to 10:30, with a short intermission for the fireworks at 9:15, we will have Seventh Heaven. So again, we're looking for a wonderful event next to our Village Hall here, and phenomenal fireworks, if I do say so myself. So save the date, July 3rd. Also, Congressman Brad Schneider will be hosting the 10th District Hiring Event, which will be held Thursday, June 5th. Veterans are invited for this hiring event from 9:30 to 10 a.m., veterans only, and from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30, the entire public is invited. This will be held and hosted by the Wheeling Park District. Again, that is Thursday, June 5th. The district is hiring, preparing resumes, and helping folks who are looking to get into the job market or maybe even change jobs. So this is a wonderful event that's been sponsored by the Congressman. Also, I'm pleased to announce myself and the Village Board of Trustees are hosting a night with the Wheeling High School Jazz Band, which will be Friday, June 27th, 7:30. Our friends at St. Joe the Workers Social Hall, the Knights of Columbus, are going to be hosting it at their facility behind St. Joe's. And this is an event that we're going to be sponsoring, paying for, but actually reaching out to the public to attend. If you guys haven't heard Wheeling Jazz Band, I mean, you're missing out because these guys are phenomenal. They are trying to raise a few dollars to help the band get to Europe at the end of this summer. And again, we'll be posting it all over. We'll have it in a newsletter. But it is for Friday, June 27th, 7:30. It is a free event. If you choose to donate something on your own, thank you. If not, the village will be doing this along with the village board. So we're happy about that. And quick question came to my attention today. Gas aggregation. Is there anything in the future that will be coming to the residents here? I got a couple of calls. I guess the gas bills came out in the last couple of days. And the therms have really gone up in price. Usage is understandably because of the winter. But is there anything that we can do or a consortium being planned or anything going on?
There is not. As of right now, there is still no legal authority to aggregate the sale of natural gas. There was some discussion on it, and I can only speculate as to what got in the way of legislation being approved in Springfield, but until such time, there is no opportunity for local municipalities to aggregate their gas purchase.
Okay. Will you keep us abreast?
Absolutely.
Something changes, I think the residents are looking at.
Absolutely.
And finally, just last week, Precision Zone and ICAR had their grand opening, which I'm proud to had been a part of, along with the village board who attended there. Again, Congressman Schneider had representatives there, former Congressman Dold. This is a great cooperative that the village, along with the Chamber of Commerce, regarding manufacturing. Here's a company that invested millions of dollars into a place on Chaddock that are creating, teaching, training, whether it be youths or anybody under 50 or around the 50-year-old age, looking to change their jobs into getting into manufacturing. And on a federal level, not just a state, but a federal level, they're being recognized. We're getting recognized regarding what we're trying to do here. It's creating jobs. It's putting properties back onto the tax rolls. And these folks have decided to stay here. They could have very easily gone to Lake County. They're working with the Solex College. They're working with the high school. This is a great thing that we're trying to do here. And we had a nice event last week, and I wanted to share that. And congratulations to them. John and Drew, you did, as usual, a good job orchestrating all that and getting it together. We appreciate it. That's all I have. Mr. Svandilis, anything?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
And I'll entertain a motion to approve the bills from May 1st, 2014 through May 28th, 2014.
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Vogel.
Second.
Second by Trustee Kruger. Roll call.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Juris?
Yes. We do have executive session this evening for pending, probable, and/or imminent litigation. I entertain a motion to recess into executive session.
So move.
Motion by Trustee Hein.
Second.
Second by Trustee Hare. Roll call.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Juris?
Yes. And we'll go into executive session by 9:15. Thank you.
20 minutes. What do we need 20 minutes for, Bob?